Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday, the end of kind of a long week. I hope you are ready for your weekend. Maybe your organization celebrates Indigenous People Day on Monday, so you've got a long weekend that you're looking at. That would be nice. You're here live with me. My name is Maureen. I am a nonprofit digital strategist and technology coach, and every Friday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern Time, I do a live broadcast on a variety of different streaming channels and talk about, give advice around, explain something that nonprofit staff people who deal with technology but aren't formally trained, advice that you could really use, that practical wisdom for nonprofit accidental techies that is in my tagline. Today, we're going to spend like a quick, 15 minutes or so talking about how to get your website ready for end of year. It's a theme. Talked about end of year last week, going to talk about end of year, probably sprinkled in for the next couple of weeks, because it's like the big deal in our nonprofit marketing, communications, event, maybe, and definitely fundraising, social media marketing world. This is where a lot of the action is for most of us, no matter how large our organization is or what our mission is. This is like the clincher. Nonprofits generally raise about 40 to 50% of all of the support that they raise all year long in the last few months of the year. So we kind of got to pay attention to it, level up, and get our acts together to make it a good one this year, because it's still a little funny. It's still not 2019 all over again. So let's talk about your website and end of year. We're all hustling. We got a lot of things to get ready. We're dealing with direct response, stuff that goes out in the mail. Maybe we're getting some prospecting and some major donor solicitation plans together for either our development director or our executive director or our board to kind of work with for the next couple of months. We've got email appeals that we are working on, designing and writing, and social media posts to help promote this campaign. The mail postal prices are going up. Delivery is slowing down a little bit, especially across the country from coast to coast. So we've got a lot on our plates normally, and then you've got the pandemic, and then you've got changes to the postal service delivery times, and it's no wonder that we forget about our websites, especially if that's not part of what we do. If I'm not a webmaster, part-time or full-time, I don't really think about the site as the tool that it can be. A very efficient and effective tool, may I add, that like you already have. You have to spend extra money to print things. Maybe you can reuse some of the stuff on your website that you're coming up with for your direct response or your email appeals. So it's important to talk about this stuff. And the reason that your site is so important, there's three really key reasons why paying attention to your website during end of year will benefit you. So the first is it gets more eyeballs. For most nonprofit organizations, more people visit your website every month, even for a second. More people visit your site than will follow you on social media or are on your email list. That's not true for every organization. Some folks have massive email lists and giant social media followings, and it performs better than their website does. But for most of us, your site is the place that people go to before they become a social media follower or before they sign up for email. So it's important, gets more eyeballs. Second reason you need to pay attention to your website is because you control it. Yeah, where were you at the great Facebook, WhatsApp, Insta outage of 2021? People were sort of stuck. I couldn't post. I couldn't ask. In some cases, I couldn't even communicate with my teammates if you are a WhatsApp using organization to stay in touch with each other. around the world or wherever your team happens to be. So you control it. Usually, if it goes down, that's really infrequent, and you can actually take steps to make it come back again. So the control thing is important. And I think that was just hit home for us a little bit a couple of days ago. And the third reason that your website is really an important tool in your end of year campaign success is because you know that you send out all this stuff, you post stuff on social media, you send things in direct mail, you send an email appeal. Many, many times, folks will go to your website. They're not going to necessarily click the link in the email message. If they get a piece of direct mail, they're going to have to type in a URL or Google you and go to your homepage. So even when people are being messaged through other channels, you're not just relying on them visiting your site to know that you've got an end of year campaign running. They're going to go there first. So, those are three really, really important reasons why you can't forget about your site. Begging you, please don't forget. So, we know why it's important. Just got to work it into your plans. Doesn't have to be a heavy lift. And I'm going to share with you now the 5 basics, just 5 things that you need to just jot down and make happen as part of your end of year campaign planning, launch, and closeout. So just 5 things. Maybe you can only do 3 of these things. I don't care. Just listen to it. And if you do have a web person inside your organization, get their help, partner up, let them know what's coming, give them a chance to participate. Maybe they've got some good ideas for how to use your site to promote your end of year campaign. You might want to include them in your planning. So the 5 basic things are numero uno, your homepage. Your homepage has to promote your campaign in a branded way. So the same design, same language, same little picture. If you're using a cardinal or a tree or a bell or faces of kids or whatever you're already designing and sending off to the printer that you're going to use in direct response, that you might use in social, that you might use in your email appeal letters, that has to be present on your homepage. Up at the top, as high up at the top as you can go. People need to be able to recognize in like 2 seconds, that's about all you have, that, oh, yeah, that's right. There's the picture of the cardinal that I got in the mail. All I have is 2 seconds. So get me to that stuff in a recognizable way. Because here's what happens. If I'm on your direct mail list and I get your nice end of year package with maybe some address labels or a lovely letter, I'm going to go to your site. And if I click on your donation form or I'm looking quickly on your homepage, especially on the phone, and I don't see it, that recognizable thing, that picture, that language, that title, I may do nothing because I want to do what you asked me to do, which is give to this campaign. And if you're not promoting it, I might go away and not give it all because I don't want to do it wrong. Website visitors, donors would rather back away and do nothing or try later than do it incorrectly, than not follow your instructions. So make it really easy for them to recognize and then go make that gift. The second basic is also related to your homepage. Your end of year promotional box or picture or call to action or lovely designed, promotional banner needs to be in more than one place on your homepage. So the top we already talked about, recognizable, about halfway down your page, somewhere in the middle there, and then in the footer or towards the very bottom. What we humans do when we're looking at a web page, and I'll use my phone as an example, is we start out at the top, we scroll for a couple seconds, we see another call to action, maybe I'm not convinced yet. We get all the way to the bottom, and that may be the decision point for your visitor. Do I say, oh, yeah, okay, I am going to make that donation? And I don't have to scroll all the way back up to the top to find that picture of that cardinal tree, bell, whatever. So our eyes go all the way down to the very bottom of the page. And one thing that has been very popular in website design circles for the last few years are these super footers. The same navigation that you've got up at the top of your website is replicated at the bottom because we don't want to have to scroll all the way back up to the top. And sometimes just clicking, above the URL on your phone zips you up to the top quickly, and sometimes it doesn't. So adding things top, middle, and bottom by the footer to promote your end of year campaign will help make sure that a donor who is on the fence will see things a couple of times and will hopefully take action in one of those spots. That's the second basic. Third basic is your donation form itself. Your donation form, when I was talking with Clay Buck a couple of weeks ago about donations and donor data and trends and consistent, not consecutive donors, we talked about the fact that everybody's got that button, the power button, up in the upper right hand corner of their website. It's just where that thing has decided to stay. And for end of year time, you may choose to update your existing evergreen donation form so it looks like your campaign, your end of year campaign. You may also decide to change where that button goes. Maybe it goes to a special end of year donation form. And you decide, I actually want to direct as many online web visitors as possible over to this end of year form. So I'm kind of going to retire or suppress my existing donation form, send everybody to the form that is branded and looks and feels like my campaign. What some other organizations do is they say, no, that's totally cool. We're going to keep our evergreen donation form. We're not going to change it, and we're not going to change the button, but we're going to have a separate end of year form that looks like the campaign. And that's what we'll direct everybody to in those calls to action on the homepage, in direct response, on social media, and in your email appeals. What some people also do is they just mix up their evergreen form. They keep the button the way it is. They add and swap out maybe the header image on that form, slap a little end of year language in there, update the autoresponder a little bit so that that form can do what it should do, which is reinforce the campaign giving that's going on in your visitor's head, in your prospective donor's head. So for your donation form, you can either keep your evergreen form the way that it is and do nothing with your donate button at the top of your site. You can change your evergreen donation form so it becomes a campaign form for end of year time. Or you can create an end of year donation form and keep your evergreen form, but donate that direct that donate button at the top of your site to the new end of year form. So you have a bunch of choices in here, depending on the amount of time you have, the internal skills or paid help that you've got, and how your organization is tracking and reporting on how that evergreen donation form is performing. Number 4 is looking a little bit at your most visited pages. So most of us in nonprofit land have a big site. Like, it's bigger than 50 pages. It's bigger than 100 pages. It could be bigger than 900 pages or more, depending on how long you've had it and how much you like to hang on to old content that maybe nobody is visiting. That's another live for another day. But for today, if you can work with the person who monitors your Google Analytics, your webmaster, your communications director, whoever you've got who pays attention to site visits, ask them to give you a list of your top 10 most visited web pages. And it doesn't matter what those pages are about. It could be a jobs page. It could be a programmatic page. It might be your blog. Find the top 10 most visited pages and add end of year campaign promotion, little button, little box, little tile, image, whatever, to those pages. You know that's where the eyeballs are. Might as well put your end of year campaign giving opportunity in front of as many visitors as you possibly can. So get that top 10 most visited pages list and make sure you're promoting your end of year campaign there as well. So that was number 4. Number 5, this is a personal choice basic, so your mileage is going to vary. You're going to make a decision that works for you and your team. Some folks have a ways to give page, and maybe that's one of your most visited pages, maybe not. If you do have a ways to give page, you can either promote your end of year campaign, like put it at the top, the image, the call to action, a couple skimmable paragraphs or bullet points from your email appeals, your stories, your direct response stuff, so that if people go to ways to give, they know campaign, go here, that you're running a campaign. They might not get it. Not everybody understands the fundraiser life cycle and end of year giving time in the way that we do. So you could hack and update your ways to give page. You could also create a campaign landing page or a campaign promotional page. If you have video, if you have stories that you are sharing as part of your end of year appeal language, you might want a campaign promotional page. So if you want to go that route, set up a nice page, make sure that in some of your promotional material, you're sending people there. You might even be able to embed a donation form right on that page to give your visitors one less click to actually get to the donation form. They're reading about your campaign. The form should be like right there in their face. So those were the 5 basics. Homepage, homepage promo in 3 spots, top, middle, and by the footer. Talking about what to do about your donation form. Make sure that it looks and feels like your other campaign stuff. Adding an end of year promo to your 10 most visited web pages, and think about whether you need a campaign promotional or landing page just for now. Couple bonus pro tips before we sign off for this afternoon. Pro tip number 1, this gets us into trouble. When you're adding all this promotional stuff to your 10 most visited pages, or you're updating your donation form, or whatever you're doing, make sure you document what you changed. Just make it like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or something that's got the URLs of the pages that you've added stuff to, maybe have rearranged or something to more seamlessly promote your end of year campaign, so that on January 2nd, you can take it all down. So there's many times where people are like, oh, I didn't realize we still had that on our jobs page, and it's March. It looks a little foolish. So if you can take a little inventory, or just keep yourself honest about where you are promoting your end of year campaign on your site, it makes it much easier and faster for you to clean it all up at the end. So that's number 1 pro tip. And the second pro tip that I have for you is tracking. So if you don't want to get all Google Analytics, Universal Tag Manager, HTML, one quick thing you can do to track what people are clicking on, so that you can use that information for 2022, is you can get a free Bitly account. It's bit.ly. You sign up for a free account, and it lets you make custom URLs. They don't have to be pretty. They don't have to have your name in them. But if you want to know, man, how many people came to our donation form from the top promotional area on our homepage, or the middle promotional area, or the footer promotional area, you can create a Bitly link and apply that to your promotional areas. And when you go back to your Bitly account, it gives you performance. How many clicks? When did those clicks happen? So if you are Google Analytics averse, or don't have time, or don't have the internal expertise to deal with creating those special trackable links in Google Analytics, there's another free way for you to do that. And that's through Bitly, bit.ly. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I hope this was all really helpful for you. I can't believe it's like halfway through October practically. Rest of the year is going to go like this. I got 2 updates for you. The first is my My long-awaited ebook and ebook bundle with all these worksheets and guides and things for you is in the final editing stages. We are this close to releasing it into the wild. The title of the book is Getting a Return on Your Nonprofit Technology Investment, a guide for accidental techies. And I'm really proud of it. It is chock full of all kinds of free advice that anybody can use. You don't need to have special skills, worksheets to help you get some of these things done so that you can start to measurably increase the return on your technology investment, which is usually pretty significant for most organizations. So stay tuned for that. I'll be giving some free copies of the bundle away to folks that come and watch these live sessions. So stay tuned for more information about that. And then the second thing I want to share is, oh my goodness, next Friday's live stream is going to be off the hook. I am so psyched to have my buddy, Emily Goodstein of Greater Good Strategies, who's going to be coming on next Friday, the 15th at 12:30. And we're going to be chatting about welcome series of automated email messages that you can set up easily to deepen your relationship with your supporters and make it feel like you are really paying attention to what they're doing. And you can use information that you collect in these series to actually personalize and conditionalize some content that you're sending to these folks. So we're going to talk about the strategy, the practicality, and the technology in automated welcome series next Friday with Emily. So with that, I'll let all of you go. Hope you have a wonderful long weekend if you're lucky enough to have Monday off. And I will see you here next Friday with Emily Goodstein. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Catch you next week. Bye.